We're getting to that point in the summer where Husker fans nationwide are starting to sit down and formulate real opinions about Nebraska going into 2025. So recently, I've done the exact same thing. I've done a lot of thinking, and I can safely tell you that I've come up with my 5 most controversial Nebraska hot takes going into this year. This video is going to get nuts. What players finally break out for the Big Red? Who falls short of expectations? What is one positional group that I think completely flops? How good is Dylan Raiola really going to be? How good is this offense really going to be? How good is this team really going to be? I'm going to keep it real. These takes are meant to be controversial. They're meant to be unpopular, whether it's positive, negative, or somewhere in between. I just know one thing. This video is going to be very fun. So really quick, hit that like button if you're fired up. I know I am. And also, if you're a diehard Nebraska fan and you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? If you enjoy daily content, talking your favorite team, talking Huskers, it's a no-brainer. Takes 2 seconds. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much. But without further ado, let's get into it. We know how hyped up this season is for Nebraska. And for that reason, a lot of people have opinions, whether they're very positive, very negative, or somewhere in between. We're going to cover all of those boundaries today with my 5 biggest Nebraska hot takes. These takes are going to get hotter as the video progresses, so you're going to want to stick around for the entire thing. But let's just start on easy mode. And trust me, this take is still very hot. It's very spicy. We're pouring some hot sauce to get things going. Number 1. I believe that in 2025, Nebraska will have a top 10 offense in America. Yes, you heard me correctly. We are going to go from one of the worst offenses last year, one of the worst offenses the year before then, to going to one of the best top 10 in all of the country. And this is due to a couple reasons. Number 1, the biggest reason. We go from having one of the worst offensive coordinators in America in Marcus Satterfield, who was completely incompetent. He was a F-tier coordinator. We go from him to Dane having a full offseason under his belt, an A-plus offensive coordinator, a game planning guru, one of the best play callers in America, former head coach at West Virginia and Houston. It's about as big of an upgrade as you can come across in college football. And for that reason, we're going to be a lot more prepared for these games. We're going to be having play calls at a high level. We're going to be game playing at a high level. Again, I see no reason that with this upgrade alone, Nebraska is not going to win 2, 3, 4 more games just because we have a competent coordinator for the first time in a very long time at that offensive spot. So Dana Holgorsen is the best coordinator we've had in 1 decade, 2 decades. It's been a while since we had an adult in charge. So that's the first thing. But you just look at this roster, there's not a spot on the offense that got worse from last year. Quarterback play is obviously going to be very improved. Dylan Raiola, another year under his belt. He's going to be potentially a top 10 quarterback if everything goes right, maybe even top 5. You know, the running back room has its concerns, but you have your best starting running back since Divine Ozigbo in Emmett Johnson. The receiver core is one of the best in the Big Ten. This offensive line supposedly is one of the best it's been in over a decade. We'll talk about that as the video progresses. So listen, this offense is great on paper. We have adults in charge at that coordinator position. I see no reason why it can't be at least top 20 in America if everything happens with Dylan Raiola in his arm. His arm is going to win you a couple games alone. And then with Jacory, Barney continuing to break out, with Dane becoming one of the better receivers in the Big Ten, being an NFL draft pick, it's going to be really good. And for that reason, I think we're going to average around 450 yards a game, most of that coming in the passing department. We're also going to run the football as well. And overall, it's just going to highlight how bad of a coordinator Marcus Satterfield really was. The fact that we're going to sit here at the end of the year and look at how explosive our offense was, we're going to say, man, why was Marcus Satterfield our coordinator for 2 years? We could have done a lot better. That's all I'm saying. But it really all depends on 2 things. Can Dana Holgorsen really be that coordinator that we think he is? It also depends on if Dylan Raiola can finally break out. I think both of these things are going to happen. And for that reason, I think Nebraska is going to have one of the most explosive offenses in America. Speaking of offense, I just gave you a positive take, but let's give you a negative take. And I'm going to keep it real here. I'm not buying the offensive line hype. I'm just not. Okay, I agree the coordinator is better. I agree the quarterback plays better. The wide receiver plays better. And I still think it's going to be top 10 in America. But I'm just not buying that Nebraska's offensive line is the best it's been in a decade. Like the coaching staff's trying to tell you, like some of the media members are going to tell you. And listen, there's a lot to be excited about when it comes to this offensive line. I think the interior is good with Justin Evans, with Rocco Spindler, with Henry Tufsky. That's a very solid center guard combo. Okay, very solid. But there are some issues with the Nebraska offensive line. Number 1, we have a lot of tackle concerns. Whether it's Elijah Pritchett, who was one of the worst tackles in all of America last year, you're magically expecting him to break out to be the 5-star that he once was. I just don't buy that. On the other side of the offensive line, you're hoping Teddy Prohaska can stay healthy. I don't mind buying that either. And then you have some depth concerns. You have Gunnar Gatula. Can he take that next step? You have Turner Corcoran, who's historically been terrible. You have a bunch of second-year players like a Grant Bricks, like a President Tomoa, even a Sam Sledge there, who are just still unproven. While they have great potentials, you just don't really want to throw them in the fire just yet. So again, while I still feel like this offense is going to be great, is this offensive line really going to move the needle, especially in the running game? I don't think so. They're probably going to be pretty developed in the pass pro, honestly. I feel really good about that in that department, but I think it's going to really take a huge step back in the running game. So Nebraska's not going to be running the ball much, and they're not really going to need to with how good this receiver core is, with how good Dylan is, but I just don't buy the coaching staff hype that they try to tell us in spring ball. We know how it is with the coaching staff, right? They have a lot of coach speak. They'll hype up some guys when there really isn't hype behind that. We know how it is, right? Matt Rhule does all the time. Every coach does. That is what it is, right? You got to kind of sift through the lies to find the truth. I think with the offensive line, something where they're just kind of trying to hype up that unit. I just don't know how good it's really going to be, and that's just because I don't feel good about the tackle situation. And I don't feel good about the injury situation as well. That's a unit that's dealt with injury after injury. You know, whether it was Henry Tufsky last year, Teddy Prohaska last year, Turner Corcoran last year, Elijah Pritchard's a guy who hasn't stayed healthy throughout his career. He's had a lot of issues off the field as well. I'm buying the offense hype. I'm just not buying the offensive line hype. That's my second hot take. Then let's go to the schedule. Let's talk about us on the field when we're actually playing real opponents. Now, obviously, I got to save my record prediction for later in the offseason. We'll release that probably first week of August. That's going to be a big deep dive graphic, so you know how it is, man. It's going to be a fun video. But with that being said, when I look at Nebraska's schedule this year, I see no reason that the Huskers won't get their first ranked win in about a decade in 2025. It's been a very long time. Last time that we beat a ranked team was in 2016 versus Oregon. Oregon turned out to be very bad too. We're probably lucky that we beat a ranked team because they didn't end their season ranked. So listen, there's a couple options for us. We're either going to beat Michigan at home, which is week 4, very doable. We're either going to beat Penn State on the road, which is second to last week of the year. That'll be hard. Iowa could be ranked. We'll see on that. I doubt it. And the USC could be ranked. Those are really the only games, but it's probably going to be either Michigan or Penn State for Nebraska. I believe that the Huskers are going to win one or the other. Now, what game is that going to be? I can't reveal that just yet, but this is the year that Nebraska finally gets the monkey off their back. That gets the statement win. They get on national television and finally beat a big opponent. They finally get hyped up for once. So that's going to be big for this program. That's going to be big for Matt Rhule. But here's the caveat. Okay, it's a double-edged sword in this take. While Nebraska's finally going to get their first ranked win in a very long time, they're also going to lose a crucial game that, hey, they have no business losing. And there's a couple options. It's either going to be Minnesota, which is on the road, Friday night game. Last time we went there, it was also a midweek game we lost. First week of the season, Matt Rhule's first ever game. So it's either going to be Minnesota. It's either going to be Maryland, which I am very concerned about playing there for whatever reason. Just feel like a trap game, although I don't anticipate Maryland being very good. And the last one's Michigan State. And it's very similar. If we do, in fact, beat Michigan, which I'm not yet predicting, you play Michigan State the next week. Who says you're not hungover? Who says you're not ready? You're not completely ready to go for that game, right? I think Nebraska, maybe if they were to beat Michigan, you play Michigan State the next week, they go out there and lay an egg, and it's a closer game than people are expecting. So that's the caveat. While Nebraska's finally going to get that big rank win, they're also going to lose a crucial game they shouldn't. That's probably going to maybe derail their season. It might lead to a couple other bad losses. We will see. Fourth hot take. This is kind of a bunch of small hot takes all in one. It's a bunch of player hot takes. So just get ready. I'm going to go rapid fire. Number 1, Jamarion Parker ends the season as running back 2 and swaps carries with Emmett Johnson. You know how I feel about Jamarion Parker. I think he's the most athletically gifted running back in the room. I think he has the highest potential. It's just about him continuing to work on his body and stay healthy. If that happens, I see no reason he can't beat out Quinn Ives. I see no reason he can't beat out Mekhi Nelson. And I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be a lot better than Emmett Johnson. So I think Jamarion Parker, going into that Penn State game, going into the Iowa game, he's going to be that guy. Now, is this going to happen at the start of the season? Absolutely not. Is this going to happen maybe for the Michigan game? Absolutely not. But at the end of the year, he will be a running back 2, probably going to swap carries with Emmett. Love that. Deshaun Singleton, second take. I think he's going to be the best player on the defense. You guys already know. I think Deshaun Singleton is going to be absolutely a stud. The way the coaching staff talks about him, what we've heard so far in spring ball, what I saw with my own eyes, he's going to be roaming all over this field. I think he's going to be a very high NFL draft pick. I think Sear Wright takes a step back from last year. I think he's honestly a little bit overrated right now. Like, Sear Wright was good last year, but he was our corner 2. Now he's going to be our corner 1, and that's a huge adjustment. Now you're going to get some of the best receivers in the Big Ten. It's just tough, right? We've seen a lot of corners thrive at that 2 spot and then go to 1 and they really, really fall off, whether it's Tommy Hill, whether it's Lamar Jackson, even Cam Taylor-Britt took a long time to adjust. I think Sear Wright's going to do the exact same thing. I think Marcus Davila is going to thrive as quarterback 2. I think Amari Sanders is going to break out kind of like Sear White breaked out from last year at that corner 2 spot similarly. And I think, honestly, the special teams issues we had last year, I think they continue to persist, especially at that kicking and punting situation. Everything else I feel good about. I feel good about the return game. I feel good about our snapping. I feel good about us going down on a kick return and tackling the opposing player. Don't feel good about the kick or the actual putting the ball through the uprights. I don't feel good about the punting situation just yet. So I think that's still going to be an issue for Nebraska. All right, 5th and final hot take. Once again, kind of a lot of hot takes just in one. Again, I can't give you my record just yet, but just know I'm feeling pretty optimistic about this year. I'll just tell you right now, it's going to be, it's going to be 7 or more wins, and it's going to be 11 or less. So 7 to 11. That's really what you're going to keep in the back of your mind until I actually release my prediction. But here's a couple of predictions I got for you. I think Nebraska is going to end the year with multiple all Big Ten teamers. They're going to have 7 draft picks. Dane, Heinrich, Haarberg, I think, will be drafted just because of his athletic upside. Rocco Spindler, Deshaun McCullough, Sear Wright, Deshaun Singleton, and Marquez Buford. I might be missing 1 or 2 there, but I think we're going to have at least 7 draft picks, which is going to be monumental for the program. I think Matt Rhule wins some awards for turning around Nebraska, having that breakout year. And here's the thing that I think a lot of Nebraska fans want to hear. I think the Huskers are going to end with a top 15 recruiting class in a very hyped transfer portal class going into 2026. And the reason why I think this is because when you win football games, you start to get flips. Because it's one thing to sell a vision to these recruits. It's one thing to say, hey, we're going to be good. It's another thing to say, hey, we are good. Okay. And that's what's going on in Nebraska right now as we stand here. Nebraska's class isn't great. It's not top 20. It's not top 15, but that changes when we win this year. And we're in a position to flip a lot of guys once we start putting up real production on the football field. We might start flipping a bunch of 4-star receivers. We might start flipping a bunch of offensive linemen. We might start flipping a bunch of linebackers here and there. So I think when Nebraska has the year they're going to have, we're going to end with a top 15 class, multiple big-time 4-stars, big-time players coming, flipping in December, flipping on signing day. We're going to have a lot of big-time portal players. The NIL is just going to get better because the boosters are going to be excited. And then going into 2026, despite us having a very hard schedule, there's going to be a lot of talk. And it's going to be a very, very fun year. That year too, but also this year is going to be crazy. So those are my 5 biggest Nebraska hot takes without revealing too much information about what games I think we're going to actually win or other things, but those are my big hot takes. I want to hear your hot takes. Let me know down below what you're thinking. Are you positive? Are you negative? Let me know in the comment section. Hey, if you made this far on the video, hit that like button and subscribe. As always, it's going to be great. Go Met Rule, and I'll see you in the next one.